Hi there, how are you? This is Cassandra Xavier, also known as Amethyst Ra, Amrita Waterfalls, and Endowed Goddess. Today is a beautiful day, and I am hypomanic. I'm going to call this post Bearded Lady, the face of hypomania, living with bipolar disorder. Living with bipolar disorder is a series that I write along with several other series like Soulmate Attraction for the Rest of Us, Raw Foods for the Rest of Us, Living with Bipolar Disorder, the PTSD Chronicles. I write about angels, different things. Little of this, little of that at wisdom-magazine.com. So, I wanted to share right now. This is a little bit of an homage to Julie Fast, who has a website called bipolarhappens.com. She was recommended to me in 2015. It's now 2019. She was recommended to me at that time by a former therapist of mine. So one of the things that she does is talks about how she will share pictures of her face during d- depressive episodes and manic episodes. So I have bipolar too. And one of the things that's happened over the years with psychiatry is they changed the language of things and the naming of things. So I used to just think of myself as going from having depressive episodes and manic episodes. Now I know that my manic episodes are actually called hypomanic episodes. Bipolar 2 has their manic is called hypomanic, so it's like a milder form of mania because we have bipolar 2 and bipolar 1 is the most severe form of bipolar disorder. So as I like to say, that's the form of that's the kind of bipolar where somebody wakes up in another city and they don't know how they got there. Thank the good Lord, I don't have that one, but I have mine. um, so I've been hypomanic for a couple of weeks now, and it's been pretty extreme on the count of the sugar. So I've been eating way too much sugar, and one of the things that Julie talks about at bipolarhappens.com is the importance of diet. Um, and your food. And so usually I do mostly a whole foods diet, but lately I've been off my game food wise. I also have binge eating disorder. It's very common for women with bipolar disorder to also have some kind of eating issue. And I really think if you've ever heard the phrase, how you do anything is how you do everything. And I think one of the reasons that anticonvulsants work with us, like carbamazepine, for instance, which I have been on in the past, is because it calms sort of like this inner jerky energy movement thing, which is not the clinical term for it, but whatever calms you enough to not have a seizure also calms you enough to have less intense or less or not at all severe episodes of mania, and also at the same time calms down the severe energy imbalance or shift that causes eating disorders. A disorder is a disorder. It's an imbalance. It's a thing. So it would make sense that a medication that treats it in one form also affects it in another form. So yeah, I wanted to talk about how I feel, like what my feelings are at hypomania, in addition to the extreme irritability, talking a lot, starting a lot of projects and finishing like, a small percentage of them. Um, Time moving way differently for me than it does for other people. Like I will think 3 months has passed and it's really been a month. I can't believe it's only been a month since my birthday, since February when I turned 50. Now we're in March. It's only been Actually, in 1 week it'll be 2 months, so that explains that. So, because we're soon into April. Anyway, so one of the ways hypomania expresses itself physically with me is I hold my forehead back internally. Like it's almost like I'm giving myself an inner facelift, and I can tell I'm doing it because my forehead hurts. I don't know if I can hold this while I show you. So I'm like kind of pulling my forehead back, and it's just constant. My eyes are very wide. Um, yeah, so yeah. And sometimes I think, oh, this is a perfect time to perform, but no, then I see myself on camera, then I notice that I'm talking really fast, and it's embarrassing, but I just accept that it's a condition that I have, and I'm just willing to live with it. And if I'm going to live with it, then I might as well be joyful about it. So, but enough about me. I would say if you have bipolar disorder, I'm going to speak to my specific audience, maybe the 50 somethings who have been dealing with it for a long time, diagnosed 20 plus years ago, living with it. Just to keep it up and love yourself and learn to appreciate your quirks. Don't beat yourself up for any reason. Find support. Be around people who love you exactly the way you are. And if you're a newbie, um, some advice that I have for people who are for the newly diagnosed, and that's one of my articles at wisdom-magazine.com, living with bipolar disorder, advice for the newly diagnosed, that particular article. um, so yeah, when I first was diagnosed and my therapist at the time mentioned disability, I really wish I had listened to her. But I did not want to admit there was something wrong with my brain. And it took me a very long time. It wasn't until 2015. I was in a homeless shelter, and I was talking to a dear friend, and I broke down crying in my friend's arms because I finally accepted that there is something. I don't even want to finish that sentence, but I accepted it then. So, and the other thing too is, don't get caught up in just believing that you have just a spiritual difference. Fine, you can believe whatever you want, but just get treated. Get treated anyway, because there are so many theories on what bipolar disorder is from a shamanic perspective. That's great, but do you want to be like a wise shaman living in a shelter? Maybe you do. I don't know. I don't. I don't want to be a wise shaman living in a shelter. I want to treat bipolar first. That's what um, Julie Fast says in her work. Treat the bipolar first. So, and look to models. Look to people that you can relate to who have what you want. Julie has bipolar disorder, and she is an author. She does readings. She, she's doing her thing with bipolar disorder. So if you have bipolar disorder, love yourself, hang in there, and treat it first. Hope you're well. And this is my hypomanic face saying, have a wonderful day, and I'll check in again soon. All right, take care. Bye.